Now that you've had maybe, like a month to reflect on it after just being enshrined in the Hall of Fame, when you reflect back on it, just what was the whole day like?
Well, the enshrinement day, of course, was probably the cherry on the topping, but the whole week was a blur, really. And I woke up 3 days after. I'm in bed with my wife about 3 a.m. I woke up and I said to her, I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
It finally hit a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, more and more as it went along, and then I had to go places, do things and stuff connected to it.
Yeah.
And it started to grow, and, it's at the point now where, it's a real good feeling, and I feel comfortable about everything that's happening.
What is it like for you? I mean, obviously, look, you played in the NFL for a long time in New York, but you were always kind of just sort of like an all-shucks kind of guy. Everybody knew you were a good football player, a Hall of Famer now, but that whole week where it's so much focus on you day after day after day, and you're part of an elite class. Had you ever experienced anything like that before?
Oh, God, no. You really think about it. I'm in a place where 1%, out of 30,000 guys that have played in the game, there's only 370 in the Hall of Fame. When you really sit down and think about that, from any kind of perspective, business, that is unbelievable. And so to sit back and really reflect upon it, the amount of people compared to the game itself, it really is a special place. To be in a class with all these guys who are, household names, really. And it's a feeling that you really can't explain it. It's hard to explain, but it's a gratifying feeling. It really is. To know all the hard work that you did, all the things you put up. Your family was put out by you having to train, and me with surgeries and everything else, It's a gratifying feeling.
You said you had that speech written for a while. You did really well with it. What was it like? Were you nervous beforehand, or did you kind of just were you just ready
not
for
really. Well, speaking's easy.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a tremendous thing, but to say all the right things,
Yeah.
And I had a guy, Bill Reinhardt. He writes for the news in the city, and he writes private articles, and he helped me with it mostly. And Bill wrote the first draft of it as a fan, and then I changed it up mostly to go where we went with it. But, I wish I would have had a half hour.
Yeah.
Because, you can apply it to the way of not only the words, but, the delivery. Making people feel it. And if I'd had that little more time, I would, it's like a guy that is announcing a car race on TV or a football game. That announcer's good if he makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do with everybody who was involved in my life. But I didn't have the time, and I wish I would have had that time.
Yeah. What was today like? I mean, not the best weather, but to have so many of your former friends and teammates back, to be out there with Danny at halftime, what was that like?
Well, I said last night we had a dinner over at Temple, and a lot of my old teammates were and stuff, and alumni. And I said, I wish I had 3 days of this, where we could take maybe a long weekend and just sit and reminisce and talk about it. Because, not for naught, we're all the same age. We're in that 70-year age bracket. There's a lot of guys that aren't here no more who are friends of ours. I would have loved to sat and remembered and talked about, and those kind of things don't come along often. So all my friends being there like that I played with and everything I got, the chance to do that by me being in the Hall of Fame was really a tremendous gift to us, because you never would have done that. I don't come around that much anymore, and they don't either. But we had a purpose for it, and I wish I would have had more time.
Who did you get to see today? Who were some of your friends and teammates?
Well, the guys Tommy Montefiore, Dave Kinko was here, Bobby Bernardo, John Domenico, Pat Staub, Mike Tackle was with us. But there was a lot of guys, and Clancy was one of the best. He was a running back with us back when I played, George Clancy. And we just had the best time reminiscing. We had guys that were from the PR department and everything like that, to bring back what they remembered. And them guys remember more than I do, because I've been hitting the head a lot, So.
Joe, obviously, Miami's really, really good. But what did you think of the first half and the way E.J. Warner's throwing the ball?
The problem of it is, you could see the difference, a step or two makes in the class of the ball player. And that's all it was. The first touchdown was really a step, really good throw and all that. And those kind of things kill you because, when you're going to play for championships, those are the kind of things that beat you. The one step, half a man, all that other thing. And Miami's, got that talent.
Did you get a chance to spend over these last couple months any time around the team or see the facility?
Well, I was out yesterday all day with the facility, and then last night was really cool. When I was in the hotel with the team, I came down and I had some stuff to eat with them and talking to them and the coaches and all. Very respectful. I mean, really, what a class point. Really, this is beyond because, kids today, even in the NFL and all, there's a certain way they act and talk that don't fit my way. These kids were almost old school, respectful, wonderful, and were receptive to wanting to hear about me, which I didn't care about. But that doesn't happen a lot because it's this me society we're in. These kids got a lot of class.
Did you tell them how good they have it at the facility compared to what you guys had when you were playing?
It's the one thing I never want to get into, guys, because, when we played, there was this. When the guys before us played, there was that. It's a succession of what you need to do to win, and the facilities now compared to then. I don't like to get into that.
Yeah. Did they really connect with your story? Because whether it was Al Golden or Matt Rule, Jeff Collins, Stanell, so many times they have to find they're not going to win recruiting battles with 5-star guys, and they really trust the tape. They bring guys in for camp. Even Danny, your son, probably could have had 10, 15 more offers, goes on an NFL career. I mean, when they talk about Temple Tough, your story is just, everybody knows it by now. Do they really connect with your story? Well,
I hope they do, because reason being is, like today I told Arthur, the athletic director, I told him, I said, listen, how about I talk to these guys, the recruits? Well, they didn't want to bother me with that. I said, no. Have somebody come with me and introduce me to their top ones and tell them who I am, and then I'll take it from there. And he went over and he introduced, hey, Charles, this is Joe Klecko, former player. He now just was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Well, once they say that, they go, what? Really? And then I take over. Yeah, I started here. I didn't have many offers. I had this, I had that, and this is where I made a home at, and it came along, and this is why you should come to Temple. And I can explain that well to young kids, but if you have to get their peak interest, so you kind of walk up to them and they're, half cock talking to you, and they say, yeah, Joe was just elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they go, what? That in itself is such a label. It's a great label, and then they want to listen to what this guy has to say because I am who I am.
So what's next for you now, just in retirement? Because it was such an overdue honor, and you'd been waiting to get into the hall. You got your family and your grandkids, but now that that's past you, you can really bask in it. What's a day-to-day existence like for you?
There's not too much difference, but it's crazier.
Yeah.
I can't handle, my priority is work, and I have to do things that I've done all along. Yeah. But then I'm combining 5 to 10 other phone calls and emails in there that I have, and I always try to remember everything. I'm learning it. I can't do that. I have to write everything down and set times to call people back, call me, so forth and so on. But it really is overwhelming in a way because my daughter-in-law, Billy Klecko, ran the whole Hall of Fame exhibition. She was unbelievable. But I can't do what she can do, These kids type 1,000 words a minute. I'm trying to write a speech with one finger. So all the things that are happening to me are overwhelming right now. They really are. And I have to figure out how to either get Billy more involved or do more of it.
During Hall of Fame weekend and that moment, you see so many people, was there a conversation or a moment beyond the speech and the enshrinement that really stuck out to you?
Yeah. I had a talk with Bob Lilly. And I told Bob Lilly, I said to him, you and Merlin Olsen were my 2 favorite players growing up. And we were talking about, what it would take these days to be, a really good player nowadays. And both of our thought processes went away from football to about what kind of man you are. And it's just amazing how much influence sports has on people's lives. Even people that watch it, and their favorite players and so forth. And that was one of the better conversations. I probably spoke with Bob about almost an hour and a half, and we sat and talked. And to hear a guy who's a very, very, very respected guy plus a knowledgeable guy, you know, to basically agree with things and go over things. And it was a tremendous talk that we had.
Congratulations, Joe.
Oh, man.
Appreciate it.